Okay, so now we have to start with the coding part of the TensorFlow project, which will classify the MNIST images.
This video is brought to you by OppiPies Academy.
Okay, so to do that, let's open a new browser window and we have to open the cloud instance in a new browser window. Okay, so over here I have the cloud instance opened. So now we have to first of all check if we have Python installed. So now while choosing the particular disk image, we didn't choose the image which had only GNU Linux installed, but instead we chose a particular image which had GNU Linux installed along with TensorFlow. Okay, so now as we have TensorFlow installed, we will definitely have Python installed as well. So over here simply type Python and we can see that we have the Python shell over here. And if we do print, and inside print if we type in hello world, then we should see the output of hello world as well over here. Okay, so this indicates that everything is working properly. So now let's exit from the Python shell. Okay, so now we have to create a new file. So over here we have to go through some basic Unix shell commands, or this is whenever you have a dollar sign at the end of every particular line or the end of every initial name of a particular line, then this means that you are using the bash shell. Okay, and bash stands for born again shell, and there are a lot of different commands when you are using the bash shell. So I will cover the essential commands which we need for the working of our particular project. But in the resources section, I will have some articles which are pointing towards some further more commands about the bash shell and with which you can explore the bash shell in more detail. Okay, so over here, first of all, now we are going to create a file. So the command to create an empty file is touch. Okay, so after touch, now we want to give the name of the file. So over here we have mnist dash classifier dot py, which is the Python extension. Okay, so now if you do ls over here, then we have the mnist dash classifier dot py. So with this, we have first of all created the MNIST classifier file. So now we want to edit the file, but now we are only using the command line editor. So over here, we can also edit the file on the command line. And to do that, we have an application called Nano. Okay, so Nano is a text editor. There are also a lot of different text editors like Vim or Vi or Emacs, but Nano is a bit simpler to start with. So we have Nano space the name of the file. So we have mnist dash classifier dot py. Okay, so this will open the mnist classifier file in Nano. Okay, so over here we are inside the Nano text editor. So now we want to write the code of the particular file, but before we do that, let's write a simple print statement over here. So we have print hello world. Okay, and after doing this, now let's save the file, and to do this we have Control X, and now over here we have a question if you want to save the modified buffer, and let's tap on Y. So this saved the file, and now let's click enter. So all of the changes will be written to the mnist classifier.py file. Okay, and over here if you want to check the contents of the mnist classifier file, we will be using a command called cat. Okay, so we have cat mnist classifier dot py. Okay, and as you can see we have print hello world over here, and now let's run the file by using Python, and the output which we should get is hello world if everything is working fine. So we have Python space mnist classifier dot py, and as you can see we have the output of hello world. So now let's finally move on towards writing the main code of our TensorFlow project. So to do that, let's again open the file in the Nano editor. So you can browse through or scroll through the various commands which you have used previously by pressing the up and down arrow. Okay, so over here we have nano space mnist classifier dot py. So over here let's remove the print hello world. And now on a new line, let's first of all import TensorFlow. So we have import TensorFlow as TF. Okay, and now we want to define the MNIST dataset. So to do that, let's create a new variable called as MNIST. Okay, so over here we have MNIST, and MNIST is equal to tf.keras.datasets.mnist. Okay, so with this we have imported the MNIST dataset. Okay, so now we have to give a particular set of values or variable values to the model. Okay, so we have xtrain and xtest. Okay, so over here let's define the values of xtrain and xtest. Okay, so over here we have x underscore train and then we have y underscore train. Okay, and then we have x underscore test and we have y underscore test. So this essentially creates 4 new variables, and now let's assign values to them. So we have mnist.loadData. This essentially loads the data onto the x train, y train and x test and y test. So I'll be explaining these commands in really short explanations, but for detailed explanation follow along the course, and later on I'll be explaining each and every command in good detail. But for now the main goal is to get everything up and running. Okay, so over here we are loading the data set from MNIST. And then after loading the data set, we are assigning a set of variables for xtrain and ytrain. Okay, and then we are also passing in some values for xtest and ytest. So this essentially means that if we have 100 training samples, then we want 80 of them to be in the xtrain and ytrain and 20 of them to be testing. So we also need some samples to test the accuracy of the model on, and we also need some samples to train the model on. So in a similar fashion, we have the training and testing variables set. Okay, so now let's assign values to train and test. Okay, so over here we have x underscore train, then we have x underscore test, and this is equal to x underscore train divided by 255.0, and we have x underscore test divided by 255.0. Okay, so with this we have basically passed in the parameters where we are defining the training and testing amount, or the exact amount of data which we want to pass in for training and for testing. Okay, so after doing this, now let's define the model. And the model is essentially the entire neural network which will be using our overall structure, or the model is essentially a neural network which will be consisting all of the neuron layers and will be consisting of the entire model in which we will be writing our code and which will be giving us output. So over here we have model which is equal to tf.keras.models.sequential. Okay, so now inside sequential we are again passing in an array. So over here we have square brackets, and now let's go on a new line. Okay, so over here let's press tab to leave some space at the start. So we have tf.keras.layers.flatten. Okay, so with this we have flattened the entire neural network. I will be explaining each one of these commands in good detail later on. So first of all, we have flattened the layer, and now we are creating the neural network which will have various activations. So we have tf.keras.layers.dense. Okay, and inside tf.keras.layers.dense we are passing in the number of neurons, which is 512, and then we have the activation. So over here the activation is tf.nn.relu. Okay, so which stands for rectified linear unit. Then on a new line, we have tf.keras.layers.dropout, and then we have 0.2 over here, which is the hidden layer. Then we have the final layer, which is tf.keras.layers.dense. Okay, so we forgot to add the space over here. Okay, so we have tf.keras.layers.dense, and over here inside this particular layer we are passing in the number of nodes. So we have 10 over here, and then we have the activation, and the activation is equal to tf.nn.softmax. Okay, so for now the only thing which you need to understand is that we have a particular input layer which takes in the pixels of all of the entire MNIST image, which is of handwritten digits, and then based on that particular pixel it has a hidden layer in between, and then it has an output layer. Okay, so the output layer has 10 neurons over here, which essentially indicate the digit from 0 to 9. Okay, so including 0 you have 10 different digits. So based on what neuron will fire on this particular output layer, we can define that we are getting a particular digit based on the pixels which we provided. So now we can see how the classification is working, as we are providing the entire image pixels as the input, and at the output stage we are getting a particular digit as the output. Okay, so over here after we have created the particular model, now it is time to define a particular compile function for the model. Okay, so we have model.compile, and over here inside model.compile we pass in multiple parameters. Okay, so first of all we have optimizer, and the optimizer is equal to Adam. Okay, so these are all different optimizers for a variety of different applications. So over here let's just remove the spaces. Okay, so now we have the Adam optimizer, and then on a new line let's define a loss function. So we have loss, which is equal to, in single inverted commas, we have a sparse categorical cross entropy. Okay, so this may seem like a very big name, but essentially it just gives you the loss value in numerical terms. Okay, so we have sparse categorical cross entropy. Okay, so with this we have defined a loss function, and then we have the matrix value. Okay, so the matrix is equal to accuracy. Okay, so with this we have implemented the model.compile method, and now all we have to do is pass in two different final methods which will train and then evaluate the model. So we have model.fit, which starts the process of training the model, and over here we have x underscore train, then we have y underscore train, and then we pass in the number of epochs. Okay, so over here we have the number of epochs, which is the number of iterations through which we want the entire training process to happen. So over here let's give a small number for now, which is 3. Okay, so we'll be changing this number later on when we are adding the TensorBoard object into this model. Okay, so now we have model.evaluate. Okay, so after training this will evaluate the model. So we have x underscore test and we have y underscore test. Okay, so with this we can evaluate the model. So first of all, let's go through what we have done up till now, and while going through each and every line I'll try to explain it with as much detail as I can. Okay, so over here we are first of all importing the TensorFlow library. Okay, and then we are importing it as a variable TF. So later on, whenever we are using TF dot, we are essentially using this particular TensorFlow library. Then we are importing the MNIST dataset, and for the MNIST dataset we are specifying a particular location, which is tf.keras.datasets.mnist. Then we are defining the x train, y train, then the x test and the y test variables. Okay, so over here it is important to understand what the x and the y stands for. Okay, so in the case of x axis, you are passing in all of the pixels of the images. So you can think of it like the x axis contains the entire image, and on the y axis you have a particular label, and by the label you mean that it is a particular image or a particular digit which corresponds to that particular image. So if you have a handwritten image of a handwritten 2 and it is at the x location, then on that corresponding y location you will have the numeric digit 2. Okay, so this is just the x and the y. So similarly, we have x train, y train and an x test, y test. So over here, by using the 255, we only specify the amount which we want for training and testing. Then we are defining a model. So over here, we have a sequential model. So sequential model essentially means that all of the parameters which you are passing inside the sequential model will be placed one after another. Okay, so over here we have tf.keras.layers.flatten, then we have tf.keras.layers.dense, then we have the dropout, and then we again have the dense layer. Okay, so flatten essentially means that it tries to keep the connections between the different neurons as low as possible. Okay, so over here it has the dense layer, which is a set of neurons at a particular level, and over here we have 512 neurons, and then we have a particular activation function. So now an activation function essentially means that it is a function which takes in an input value and then gives you an output value accordingly. And then you have the dropout function, which is just a hidden layer, and then we have the dense function, which is the output layer, which contains 10 neurons for the output of a particular digit. Then we have the model.compile, and in compile we are passing in the optimizer. The optimizer is a function which tweaks the values of the different machine learning parameters, and then the main goal of the optimizer is to reduce the loss value. Okay, and the loss value is essentially gives you an numeric representation of how far are you from an ideal solution. And then we have the metrics, which is the accuracy, and this will be something which will be printed on the screen. Then we have the model.fit, which starts the training process using the x train and the y train variables, and we have the epochs, which is the number of times we want to run the particular model. And then we have model.evaluate, which gives it the testing parameters and then gives us the loss of, or basically gives us an indication of how the model is performing. So now to save the file, press Ctrl X, then we have Y, and then we have enter. Okay, so with this we have saved the file, and now if we cut out the file, then you can see that we have all of our text inside the file. Okay, so now that is pretty much it for writing the program about the MNIST classifier. So now from the next lecture onwards, let's focus on running the entire program. So if you have any doubts, feel free to ask them in the question and answer section.